trait.
If you see my grandfather's political ideology, it's always been relevant to the decade that he has, been in, and sort of the issue that has been relevant to that decade. In terms of Hindutva, yes, he was unapologetically Hindu. So are we. But he never was the one who would probably...
In fact, I was reading some of his quotes back from the 90s. I think one where he says that, we need a suicide squad.
What he spoke about Adani, right? I'll tell you very clearly. We know him well. There is no personal fight with him. Wealth creators cannot be city destroyers. You can't get cities as a freebie. This is a city given to him free of cost because the BJP cannot win Mumbai. When the world was fighting COVID, the BJP was the only party in the world that was doing politics and dirty politics.
Did you actually read the book before burning it?
Yes, of course. Who will tag me as Pappu too? And this, I'm like,
exactly.
I'm bola to bola. दो पप्पू ने पूरे आपके सिस्टम को हिला के तो रख दिया है.
Some would say that, and I would agree with them, that Arnab Goswami's arrest was actually in one way sort of revenge.
I'll tell you what.
Some of the Shiv Senics who went with Shiv Sena now said that, we felt bad when Congress would say things about Veer Savarkar.
No. 40 people didn't want to go to jail, that's why they've hopped over. Why so many of us are so engaged in fighting over the past? Why is no one fighting for a future?
Welcome to Newslaundry Interviews. It's 11 p.m. We're in Mumbai, in Matoshri, and we're in conversation with Aaditya Thackeray. I want to first actually take you back all the way to your childhood. Growing up in the looming presence of your grandfather, his politics, unapologetically right-wing as it gets, Hindutva, pro-Marathi, revered by many, but equally feared. What was it like growing up in this household?
No, almost for 6 years before my brother was born and the rest of the siblings, I was the youngest. And obviously, जो सबसे छोटा होता है उसके प्यार सबसे ज़्यादा होता है. So, I mean, we could, as kids and grandkids, do almost everything around him and get away with that. We've played cricket when he's sat with some minister or some industrialist or anyone, and he really didn't differentiate between what was the stature of the person. Whoever you could be, and probably are, you could sit with him, have a good chat, and if you were chatty and had something very interesting to talk to, he could sit with you for an hour. I think a lot of people who've seen the other side of his, across India, and very many people, they know how he was. And of course, in terms of his political stance, and he's said to be right-wing, but if you see at the same time, he also...
But at what point in your childhood did you feel like there's something special about you being born in this family, or that there's a legacy?
I think...
were you kind of also told that ये आपको अब सीखना पड़ेगा या आपको भी आगे जाके ये करना होगा?
No, that was in fact my principal in school when I was really shy and scared of the stage. That was the time he had called me into his cabin.
You were scared of the stage?
Yeah, I would blank out on stage.
Okay.
I remember as a child, I would sort of sometimes wear a shawl like my grandfather as a little kid and roam around trying to mimic the speeches or imitate the speeches that he gave. But it didn't feel like politics or a different thing altogether. It just felt very comfortable because...
Sometimes when you talk to these, in fact in Kashmir, I was talking to Iltuja Mufti, Mehbooba Mufti's daughter. There is this awe, of course, of your parent or a family or your grandparent. But you also see very up close the cost it has on your personal life.
I think if you've grown up in Matoshri, almost 90% of the space is public space. This is almost like a temple to many people. The chair we're sitting in front of, a lot of people...
This was his chair. He used to
This was his chair. And even today, in this next few days, whoever gets a ticket will first place the ticket here, bow down in front of the chair. And then that's, been a thing. So I think you end up realizing that obviously the highs are extremely high, the lows are extremely low. But then I don't think...
There's a lot been written about you as a changing face of Shiv Sena. Like I was saying before this, that your grandfather's legacy is really unapologetically Hindutva. In fact, I was reading some of his quotes back from the 90s. I think one where he says that, we need a suicide squad in India to protect Hindus.
So I'll tell you what.
I'll just finish and then.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is something even Modi Shah can not say today. He was really the OG Hindutva guy. Back to you, your public persona is environment. So I guess what a lot of people are curious to understand, your take on, of course, the Hindutva side that your grandfather, had, but also the liberalizing force in your life. Where does it stem from? Your father, your mother?
From both sides of my grandparents actually, because obviously also my grandfather largely, because if you see my grandfather's political ideology, it's always been relevant to the decade that he has, been in, and sort of the issue that has been relevant to that decade. In terms of Hindutva, yes, he was unapologetically Hindu. So are we.
Would you agree with this though, that you are like the more liberalizing force now in Shiv Sena,
see, I
or
mean,
you're fashioning the party in a more modern, different
See, probably it could be compared to New Labour, which is we hold our ideals closest to our core. But then you also have to speak, and you also need to speak as a political party what is relevant today.
So for the Shiv Senics today, the relevance of maybe a hardline Hindutva approach, or even an anti-immigration or anti-migrant kind of rhetoric, you think that's gone down?
But if you see during my grandfather's time also, hardline Hindutva was never about veg, non-veg. Was never about what colored clothes you wear, or if you go to the temple or not go, or if you mingle with other people or not, or all of this thing that is being tackled right now. His Hindutva was simple. If you come at me,
when you think of Shiv Senics, and for a lot of people outside Mumbai, there are some abiding images that you have of the image of a Shiv Senic. So for me, there are two. One is Valentine's Day pe couples keep it tight. That is one thing which we would hear of.
I think that stopped 20 years ago now.
Yeah,
the protest.
but growing up, you'd hear that. And of course, the anti-Bihari, anti-UP.
I'll tell you what, the sway is still held by the Sena in Mumbai and across Maharashtra. So that remains. In terms of course, jobs for the locals and Bhumiputras, back then and even today, the argument is...
I know that your father, Aaditya Thackeray, has often chided Rahul Gandhi for saying things about Veer Savarkar. And he said that, okay, he's our ideal, don't mess with him. Shiv Senics, we done actually a piece when the whole party broke up. Some of the Shiv Senics who went with Shinde Sena now said that, we felt bad when Congress would say things about Veer Savarkar.
No.
This hurt us.
The people who've hopped over with Eknath Shinde, all cowards. They have nothing to do with ideology.
But
they're all greedy
some of them
cowards.
also felt that the alliance with Congress meant that we had to compromise on some of our core ideals.
Nothing. 40 people didn't want to go to jail. That's why they've hopped over. Now the question really is it even relevant to discuss and debate for all parties, be it the Congress or the BJP or any of us, to discuss and debate whether one was greater than the other, or this one is a legend, this one is not, and this one is truly Veer and this one is not? How many of us are going to be stuck in the past? We're all fighting.
These are very emotional issues, no? Aurangzeb, Shivaji.
Very true. But the point is this, that how many of us and why so many of us are so engaged in fighting over the past? Why is no one fighting for a future? I mean, yes, you will have heroes, you will have villains.
As a young leader, two issues always seem very close to your heart. One is environment and, jobs, like you said, and young people. How do you get young people into doing things? So what are your influences in this?
The kind of company you keep, right? So obviously growing up with my grandparents on both sides, or my parents and my brother, largely everyone has been in something to do with wildlife or the other. Of course, not my grandparents, but my father, my brother. My mother's not into wildlife as much as we think, but it's she sees us in wildlife and she thinks it's way too wild and wildlife. But I think what is important is with climate, I've been seeing very recently, because I remember this movie, I think in 2003, 2004, we'd gone through school, The Day After Tomorrow. And you see this climate disaster happening. Now, if you connect those events to what is happening today, this is not the day after tomorrow, this is happening today. You see across Maharashtra, the districts that faced a drought from, say, 2012 to about 2017, started facing flash floods from 2017 to 2020. And now you're facing a drought and a flood in the same year. Our cropping patterns are changing. Every harvesting season,
agriculture has been
agriculture is
devastated
badly hit. Our food systems are badly hit. If you remember...
But Aditya, do you think it resonate hota hai ground pe when you talk to, because it's a very complicated thing to get people to understand.
Agreed.
It's easier to just say that, Maharashtra for Marathis.
It goes like this. See, I mean...
One of the key issues for you this elections, you've spoken about it, is Gujarat taking away Maharashtra's due. And in some way, are you dabbling with, again, the legacy of your grandfather, where there's an outsider that can be painted as, taking away? And also, just to add to this, you've spoken about Adani. And this kind of rhetoric, when Rahul Gandhi does it, it's kind of okay because his party has dabbled in that socialist, leftist kind of when a party based in Mumbai, financial capital of India, goes at an industrialist, it's kind of difficult to digest.
Yes, I'll tell you. So obviously, in terms of, see, the thing is, when you look at Mumbai versus Gujarat, or when you speak about insider outsider, you have lakhs of Gujaratis who are living in Mumbai and across
they played
Maharashtra.
a huge role in
Across
making
decades.
Mumbai what it
Yeah,
is.
some of them are office bearers, some of them are elected representatives, and they've been across Maharashtra. This is not about Marathi versus Gujarati. This is about the rest of India versus Gujarat being created by the BJP. Why was the International Financial Services Center given to us in 2009 by the UPA government to Mumbai, shifted out in 2014 or 2015 by the BJP to gift? And my argument is Airbus Tata, bulk drug park, medical device park, renewable energy equipment park. So much so as the diamond bores here in BKC is one of the biggest. And obviously, Mumbai has a huge number of diamond traders. All of them were called and forced to shift or at least open one office in Surat. In fact, with Vedanta Foxconn, once they moved out from Mumbai and from Maharashtra, from Talegaon to Dholera, which has been, the Prime Minister's dream town for quite a while now, they've shut shop there. They said that we cannot do business in Dholera, we cannot do a manufacturing plant for semiconductors in Dholera, there's no opportunity here, we're going. Who has lost out? Not just Maharashtra, not just Gujarat, India has lost out on the opportunity of making semiconductor chips. In terms of what you spoke about Adani, right? I'll tell you very clearly, we know him well, there is no personal fight with him or with any other industrialist.
Sure.
Everyone is a friend in Mumbai, right? He's done quite a few works in Maharashtra before our government came to power, after our government has been toppled. And whatever you do in the ambit of your tender bid, and by not looting a state or a city, is absolutely fine with us. We're welcoming and open to anyone in the world, any talent in the world, any investment in the world that wants to come to Maharashtra and do business. Having said that, what we're against is how Mumbai is being given free of cost to him. And I'll take 2 minutes out here. I'll tell you what. Dharavi is 300 acres of hutments and micro industries. Because that is 300 acres and you need some more land for transit camps so that you can obviously accommodate those people in different buildings while this is being made, the real buildings are being made. We were waiting for the railway line to be attached and the Tata Power receiving station to be attached. Now with all of this, it's 540 acres. He walked into a tender knowing what he's getting into. So why should he be given 540 acres of my land free of cost? And after all of this, is every Dharavikar getting a house? No. You'll have almost 1.5 lakh families being determined as ineligible for homes in Dharavi. So
and
what
where
happens?
do they go?
Exactly. Now for that, he's asked for 540 acres more across Mumbai. So imagine 540 acres of Dharavi plus 540 other acres, free of cost, almost 1,080 acres as of now, given to Mr. Adani, free of cost in Mumbai. Let the state turn you on. We have nothing against him becoming the richest man in the world and becoming,
And you
having so much.
personally don't have anything against the Dharavi redevelopment?
Nothing. In fact, Dharavi should be redeveloped. But if you're not, making 1.5 lakh families from Dharavi eligible, so who are you redeveloping it for? If you're not going to give micro industries their due in Dharavi, who are you redeveloping it for? If you're going to create 20 other Dharavis where the ineligible people are supposed to buy these flats from you, who are you redeveloping it for? So you get 7 crore square feet of construction in Mumbai, apart from Dharavi area. You earn 1 lakh crore without any dues that are being given to the Mumbai Municipal Corporation or to SRA or to the state government. This is beyond crony capitalism. This is anarchy. This is handing over something like Mumbai to the East India Company. Because tomorrow...
Bit of an exaggeration.
No. I'll tell you why. You're working in a city, you need elected representatives, you need the city to be running by elected governments. And today, 540 acres of Mumbai plus 540 acres of Dharavi are being given to him free of cost without the sanction of the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, because for the last 2 years, the Mumbai Municipal Corporation is being run by Eknath Shinde and his cronies. You don't have elections. Wealth creators cannot be city destroyers. You can't get cities as a freebie. This is a city given to him free of cost because the BJP cannot win Mumbai.
And how are your personal relationships?
See, for us, we've grown up around everyone in Mumbai and it's always been good. They've been friends of the family. There's no issue.
Let's come to the current hot topic of this election, which is the alliance ke beech mein kashmakash. Why is it getting difficult for you guys to negotiate with the Congress in a civil manner without it spilling onto newspapers with sources saying that UBT is being very unreasonable?
Where are the sources coming from?
Congress sources are telling people कि भाई ये तो
Are we speaking
they are being
anywhere?
unreasonable, वो विदर्भ में इतना चाहते हैं.
Have we planted any news?
Well, you guys are very openly saying we don't want to talk
That's
to Nana
what
Patoli.
we don't do all this back
But
channeling
where's
stuff.
the problem? What's the
I'll tell you
problem
what. No. I'll tell you
with
what.
just negotiating with an alliance
I think-
partner who's actually done very well in Maharashtra? They've
100%.
proven themselves in
and
Maharashtra.
we would be happy if they do well again. And I think by the time this interview is aired, most of the problems should be sorted out and we should be out
So
campaigning.
where are you getting stuck? ये भी चल रहा है कि दो Twitter पे at least कि प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी has praised Modi ji, said he's one of
अरे
the good
अभी आपने
leaders.
तो देखा sarcasm पता नहीं चलता ये cuts
I
भी
don't
होते
think she
हैं.
was being sarcastic. I think she
Ask
was
her.
being genuine. I think she
Ask
was
her.
being genuine because she says कि कुछ तो होगा उनमें अगर इतना command है,
Ask
इतना
her.
वो है. But anyway,
See, her
her
point is
praising
this.
Modi. Then there's a birthday wish that went out today to Amit Shah.
तो गलत क्या है?
Did you wish Amit Shah? No.
I think
But BJP in some sense is your natural home also, no? Like, do you think they could, I mean, I'm sure leaders are in touch with you.
There was a time when the BJP was a natural ally and there was a certain common ground with them. If you see now, beating up people and trying to kill people and burn people over what they eat is not a natural ground
There
for
was
us.
that Mumbai incident where an old gentleman
Wherever,
was.
you know, fights over veg, non-veg is not a natural ground. What color of clothes you wear is not a natural ground. You know, breaking parties, breaking families, trying to finish off people, trying to say we will be the only ones who exist is not common ground for us. So much so, I think the BJP
So there's no turning back.
The
There's
BJP
no
president
looking
went
back.
as far as to say that we don't need the RSS now. That's the true sentiment. They don't believe in coexistence, especially for those who have supported them. How can you have common ground with them?
So there's no looking back, even after
I mean, हम तो
elections.
जमीन पे हैं जो हवा में उनके साथ क्या common ground होगा?
I want to come to media now, Aditya, because this is something that I closely
I love
watch.
your those
TV nuisance.
TV nuisance bits.
Thank you. Now, two questions on the media, and I watch it very closely. One was during COVID, the entire country is going through this massive virus which we don't know how to deal with. There's oxygen shortage. There's so much happening, and the television news is obsessed with Sushant Singh Rajput's quote-unquote murder, which was obviously not a murder. It was a tragic suicide, and your name gets dragged into this.
Of course, I didn't watch the news back then, so not even aware of the madness that happened. But I'll tell you two things. Sadly, be it with anything to do with news or be it with the opening up of places in COVID or trying to tell us that you're anti-Hindu for keeping religious places closed and, you know,
Palghar case also.
random allegations have come at us back then. Thankfully, the people of Maharashtra understood us and stood with us. But when the world was fighting COVID, the BJP was the only party in the world that was doing politics and dirty politics. Forget us. चलो हम तो एक मिनट
You
बाजू में
see
रखो.
media as an extension of that?
No. Media तो मैं अभी उस समय तो देखा ही नहीं. Yes, I'll tell you the local media for us, I'll be very honest, has been very kind. They took a message of COVID measures to the people. But if you see, forget Maharashtra for a side, you know, forget me being personally targeted and I feel that every person that the BJP fears, they target, which is fine. It's like being Messi on the football field. They will only mark you, which is fine. And, you know, that's absolutely fine. The BJP actually had the audacity. So,
but you're talking more about the BJP. I'm talking more about the media and
no.
kind of.
So I'll tell
how do
you
you
what,
kind of?
for us, you know, I mean, we were only focused on COVID relief, and that was throughout. If you see my entire,
It didn't bother you?
nothing, because see, you know,
Because some would say that, and I would agree with them, that Arnab Goswami's arrest was actually in one way sort of revenge.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know if you have personally watched this clip or not, but a lot of people from Shiv Sena or the BJP routinely circulate this viral clip.
ये शिवसेना का राहुल गांधी साबित होगा.
And at that point, it was not a nice thing to be compared to Rahul Gandhi. What were your tools to fight back? Like Rahul Gandhi had the Bharat Jodo
thankfully,
Yatra.
at least I wasn't compared to the BCCI president or secretary, whoever he is. There are people from this BJP ecosystem who will tag me as Pappu too and this.
Exactly.
I'm बोला तो बोला. दो पप्पू ने पूरे आपके सिस्टम को हिला के तो रख दिया है.
But when it comes to criticism, there was one very famous project of yours, which was to bring Humboldt penguins to Baikula Zoo.
Yeah.
One of them died. There was a lot of criticism that you got for it. And there was this one gentleman called Sameer Thakkar who was booked because he made fun of you. What do you think of that? Do you think like, क्योंकि अभी आपके पास ये कवर है कि देखो मैं तो नहीं कर रहा हूँ, अगर किसी को बुरा लग गया कर
चलो ये तो सब छोड़िए.
लेकिन what do you think of this booking for cracking jokes?
I'll tell you what.
Arresting for.
I'll tell you what. Frankly, in terms of there being a line, sentiments being hurt, someone goes and complains, FIRs are filed against us for tweeting something, for speaking something. In fact, people in the opposition for saying something as simple as "Ye sarkar galat hai" are getting bulldozers at their houses. At least there is a legal way to do things. You know, ये तो बिना नोटिस के बुलडोजर चला रहे हैं.
पर क्या आप ये FIR वाला सिस्टम?
बट ठीक है, चलो इसको भी बाजू में रखते हैं. पर ये जो पेंगुइन वाला आर्ग्यूमेंट है, let's do a comparison, apple to apple.
You're going to talk about cheetahs.
Obviously.
A lot of what has happened to Shiv Sena, your and your father's leadership has come into question, that they were not approachable.
The people who got everything and couldn't digest what they got have run away. The people who did not get anything in that government or did not get posts or ministries have stayed back. Which is, you know, something which tells you a lot. Because had we been not in touch with these guys, how did Mr. Eknath Shinde come to Varsha on 20th of May and cry to my father saying, "Sir, ये मुझे arrest कर देंगे, मेरे जेल के जाने के दिन गए, जेल में जाने के दिन गए."
कि वो तो उनका तो अभी बहुत ही स्ट्राइडेंट पब्लिक परसेप्शन है कि भाई आई एम द रियल हेयर टू दिस लेगेसी.
वो तो
मतलब मैं हूँ असली बालासाहेब ठाकरे का लेगेसी मैं कैरी कर रहा हूँ.
नहीं, that thought ना has a technical term in मुन्ना भाई, I think in लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई, उसको chemical लोचा कहते हैं.
Right now you are the first Thackeray to contest an election.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be the Thackeray that lost.
But there are people who win, there are people who lose. If I win, it's a great thing. If I lose, it's also fine, because I think elections, that is the beauty of a democracy. It's not a war. You're not killing someone. You're here to win or lose. That's the maximum that can happen. It's for people to accept or reject. That's as simple as that. I think we should boil it down to that.
Would your grandfather have approved of this?
Yeah, I think he would.
Or he would have said ki more killer instincts and you
No,
destroy.
I'll tell you what. If you go to see, actually, he was one of the most liberal people I've known in my life.
Certainly not his public perception though, right?
Maybe.
Who are the current politicians in India that you admire? You can't take anyone from your families. You can't take the names of your family or even your alliance partner for that matter.
You've actually taken out most of the...
No, okay, or just your family. Just don't name your family, everyone else is allowed.
I've seen Gehlot ji do some good work in Rajasthan. He's quite popular there. Vasundhara ji equally has been very popular in Rajasthan. Shivraj Chauhan ji has been very, very popular in Madhya Pradesh. I've seen his work very closely when we used to go to the forests of Rajasthan as a family back then when I was a child. So some of these people are doing really good work.
What do you think happened with Shivraj Singh Chauhan? He's been completely sidelined.
Exactly. And he could have led the state very well today, as Madhya Pradesh could have attracted.
Do you have any inside gossip on that?
No, but we've always had good relationship with him. He doesn't come across and has never been the kind of the new BJP that is today. He's been Vajpayee ji's BJP. Vajpayee ji and we had a very, very good relationship.
You've named now mostly BJP guys, huh? Old BJP. Which is why I'm saying it's a natural home for you.
Yeah, because you said no allies apart from
you can talk about allies.
But I'll tell you what, in Maharashtra,
banning of Rohinton Mistry's book. Book burning.
I was wondering how you didn't come onto that.
Saving it for the last one. But of course, what would you say to that, Aditya? Would you say, silly you should not be banning books? And that was a stupid cause to go behind. And the response to a book is like a good liberal that you've become. The response to a book is a book.
The premise and principle of this is there was no ban on the book.
You wanted it out of the syllabus.
Out of compulsory reading. And that is what even the then Chief Minister, Mr. Ashok Chavan, from the Congress, ideologically opposed to us back then, had agreed to back then. The Vice Chancellor was okay because the kids and the teachers had approached us saying, look, we cannot read this where martyrs of a state or, people from a particular community are being abused, and it isn't compulsory reading.
But did you actually read the book before burning it?
Yes, of course. And the students had come here and they told us. Like I said, I'm not justifying it, saying right or wrong. I'm never for a ban. And being the kind of,
You think that was just youthful passion,
it
like you said earlier?
It is still in shops. It is still on bookshelves. You can go and pick it up.
Syllabus
It can be in optional reading, but not in compulsory reading.
Then how is this different from BJP's position saying ban this Ramayana, readings of Ramayana?
But their sentiments are hurt if you eat non-veg food, yeah? Or if you eat a particular color.
Reading a book, your sentiments are hurt by simply reading a book.
Am I banning it or removing it simply from the syllabus?
That's a sweet minor technicality
No, it's not.
But
again, it's the same.
But it's
Free mein itna hi milega. To watch the full, unedited interview, you have to subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free. Because we don't run an advertising. All our money comes from subscribers like you. And that is how public service journalism is paid for. All the studio lights, the cameras, all that you see on our website, it all comes from subscribers. So do subscribe, click on the subscription link, watch all the interviews unedited, and pay for public interest journalism.